All right, part C. Let's see how to add sounds to our program here. It's very easy. All we do here, just like you added sprites, first you have to add a sound into the sound resources folder here. So we'll right click, create sound, and I'll just call my sound sound fire. This is going to be when I fire a ball from player 1. I'll pop open the folder, and now in your all level resources folder, there's actually a folder called sounds. It has a bunch of WAV files in there. MP3 files work as well. And in another lesson, I'll show you how to go on the internet and you can grab pretty well all the free sounds you want. Now in here, let's just grab, I don't know, I'll grab Laser 2. Open it up. And you can just do a quick test. It does loop the sound, so that noise you hear, it's not as long as that sounds, right? It's just going to be a short little laser fire. If you like that, which you do, you hit OK. Now, this is a point where I'm just going to sort of branch and do it two different ways. Okay, I'm going to show you one way. Object player, when they press the Q to fire, we already have a little code to fire. Ignore that for a second. Here's the code that you guys can add in there. GameMaker Studio has a new set of sound commands. And the older game makers, if you happen to be using them, they have a slightly different command. I'm going to do the GameMaker Studio command, which is audio, play, sound. This method, if you look down here, it's waiting for you to give it a sound ID. You tell it a priority, and you tell it whether to loop or not. Now that may sound complicated, but all it means is you do this. You say, I'd like to do sound fire. Priority, you give it a rating from 1 to 100. 1 means very important. Play that thing. You can just put 1 all the time for most of this course. It's not going to make a difference in a small game. And do we want it to loop? No. So we say false. So it'll just play once. Now in order for this line to work, there is actually one setting we have to check in the program. And that one setting, I'll just shut this for now. The one setting is under the Resources menu, Global Game Settings. The very first tab, it says Use New Audio Engine. For that command to work, you want to have that ticked. If you don't tick it, I don't think that command will work. You got to use a different sound command. Okay, so if we test this, do some quick firing here. It's working, so it's perfect. Now, that's going to be good for most of you if you're using GameMaker Studio that you downloaded. For those of you that aren't using GameMaker Studio and you may be following this course with GameMaker 8, instead of this command, I'm just going to comment that out. That's how you do a comment, by the way. This green stuff doesn't count anymore. It's just a comment. You want to use this command. Sound, play, sound, fire. And that'll play the sound. Now if I actually try to run this with GameMaker Studio, this won't work right now for my settings. To have this work, I actually have to change the game settings to say, no, do not use the new engine. Okay, I'm sort of using this here. That's a bit of an older command. So don't use the new engine, and it should work. And there you go. So the moral of the story. If you've got Studio, really you should use the new engine and you should use that command to play sounds. If you've got the old GameMaker, use that command. Now, one last thing about the sound, a lot of people ask at this point is they say, I want some background music. Background music's basically handled the same way. I'm going to show you a very simple way to get it going fast here. First, you'd want to create the sound. That's going to be your background music. Let me call it BG Music. Let me go find some music. There's one there in the folder. That's a bit of a background music called background music. You know, it doesn't have to be a long loop. If it's a really long loop, it'll take up a lot of space in your game. It's nice to have a little thing that's maybe like 10-15 seconds repeating, like that file. Hit OK. Now, when do you get the background music going? I'm going to give you a very simple way to do it for now. We'll change it later. When player 1 is created, it's right when the game starts. This could be a potential time when you get the music playing. So player 1, create. This is where I'll kick in the music. Audio, play, sound. I'm going to play sound BG Music. I'll give it, really it's background music. I'll give it priority 2, a little less than the other sounds. And, actually, you know what, let's just leave it 1. And, does it loop? Yes, this one does loop. And that's it. That'll just loop on forever until your game stops. Give it a quick go. And you should hear it kick in. And there you go. Very intense, high music, action. There you go, and that's your background music. Now you're going to get to use all this in making another little game soon. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your big challenge coming up.